With hoops hosting Texas A&M, baseball is playing in the Shriners College Baseball Showdown out in Arlington. It's going to be a huge weekend for the Commodores in both baseball and basketball.
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Vandy podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world. Got a great show. I saw an article on WSMV about Vanderbilt and their new internal NIL collective called anchordown. We're going to discuss that a little bit. Plus, baseball opens with the Shriners. What's that look like? What kind of statement can this baseball team make? Can the Vandy boys make? Also, basketball hosting Texas A&M. Can they keep their winning ways alive? Can they stabilize a little bit and have a little more consistency? That's going to be the biggest key for that. But overall, it's just a huge weekend for Vanderbilt. So we're going to talk about that and more on this episode of Locked On Vandy. Like I said, thanks for making us your first listen. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. We put the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment. Putting in the work, that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. Now, it's going to be a huge weekend, and let's start with hoops because that's the sport that's barreling towards the postseason right now. We're getting closer and closer to tournament play, so the picture is, theoretically getting clearer for the basketball team. For basketball, just in the sport in general, kind of where people are going to fall when the NCAA tournament brackets come out, how they're going to be seeded coming out of the SEC. Like, it's a competitive group in this conference. I feel like it's all bunched up. Florida's kind of the outlier at the top. South Carolina's kind of the outlier at the bottom, but everything else is just kind of jumbled up. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. That much has been proven with Oklahoma about a week ago. And so that is something to look forward to see, okay, can Vanderbilt make themselves a little bit clearer of a threat? Can this, as this picture unfolds, what's going on with Vanderbilt basketball? And I think for that is, you're starting to see their identity form, and you're starting to see kind of what drives this basketball team. And they're going to have to they're just going to have to push for that every single time. And I think the sense of urgency has to be there. And like I said, matchups, it doesn't really matter too much about the matchups. I mean, there are some things there with the other teams, but like for Vanderbilt, a lot of it is self-inflicted. A lot of it is confidence issues. A lot of it is you just get off to a bad start, you dig a hole, and you can't get out of it. And you realize, hey, I had a chance to get out of it, but it's a little too late, and you run out of time on your furious comeback. So for basketball, that's kind of their identity. They're tied to how they starting fast, getting the crowd into it at home. That's what they have to do. And I think this Memorial crowd is going to be great. They see the NCAA tournament up ahead on the horizon, and they want to push this team to get the best seed that they possibly can. And to do that, they've got to keep winning. They've got to keep having games like they did against Auburn, like they did against Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina earlier, LSU earlier in the season. And they have to have games like they did in the non-conference. So you have to kind of push towards that and push ahead. The biggest key is going to be how they start. That's going to drive a lot of what they do. It's going to drive whether or not Tyler Nickel is going to get involved in the game. Against Auburn, he wasn't, but it didn't matter. Obviously, Tyler Tanner's going to get his points, but he has to have help from everybody else. And, of course, being able to withstand the barrage of scoring. Buckyball is a thing. They average 90 points a game, so they're a pretty explosive team, Texas A&M is. But you have to find ways to withstand it, keep up with it. Don't let them dictate the pace of the game. You have to dictate the flow of the game, force them to feel like they're playing from behind. And that's going to be the biggest key for Texas A&M is to get them on their heels, because I think they're also a team that the way they play, if they're on their heels, it's going to be tough for them to kind of, if they get into a hole, it might be tough for them to kind of dig out. So Tanner's going to do his thing. He's probably going to have 20, 21, 22 points, somewhere in that range, maybe even more. But, you've got to have some contributions from your front court like Jalen Washington did against Auburn. He had 22 points. You had double digits from all three of your front court guys. Tyler Nickel has to get more involved from three-point land. You have to get him into some good shots. The key for him is to get him going early as well. If you can get Tanner, if you can get Nickel, if you can get those guys going early, you stand a really good chance at winning this game. And then your front court's got to do something. And then Chandler Bing just continue to get minutes, continue to get comfortable. He's improving drastically. And he's going to be a big contributor down the stretch of this season and into the SEC tournament and even into the NCAA tournament. He's going to get significant minutes. Now he's just got to get comfortable and find a way to contribute in that. So all in all, start fast, get the ball to your playmakers, have the front court have an impact. You need 4 guys in double digits. Again, that helps. And just roll with that. Nickel's got to be hot. Tanner does his thing early and often. And then, of course, one of your 3 front court guys has to have a big game. The other guys can contribute as well solidly. It doesn't matter who it is. It changes every game anyway with those guys. So as long as they're contributing, it is all good. So baseball team, big, important tournament. They can make a statement at the Shriners in Arlington at Globe Life Stadium. We're going to talk about that, what impact that is, what statement that is, how important this game is. We're going to talk about all that right here next. It's Locked On Vandy. Stay tuned. Are you hiring? And when you are hiring, it isn't just about finding somebody willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want a candidate who matches what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the move. Because instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit specific criteria like skills, which is most important, certifications, and location. If I were hiring, I wouldn't want just someone who can help. I'd want someone with real experience who can jump right in. That's what I like about Indeed. You can get specific and you can target exactly what you need. It saves time because you're spending less energy sorting through mismatches. And with sponsored jobs, your posts get seen by candidates who are actually a fit. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Oh, the Winter Olympics have been fun. And if you're anything like me, if you're anything like any of us in the Locked On sphere, you're locking in for the events that you only get to see on the biggest stage for every 4 years. And that's why following the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle in the sports that you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. I mean, curling is that cult sport that everybody loves. There's curling bars everywhere. So I'm sure that is what everyone's tuning into. Speed skating has become fun. I like the downhill skiing stuff, hockey, of course. The rivalries you have between the countries, especially United States and Canada. That is a very heated rivalry with the on the ice. So you can bet on all this stuff, right? And FanDuel keeps the entire Olympic experience engaging from start to finish. And when the Winter Games are on, there's no better way to follow them than with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. Now, join the Everydayers Club. If you're an everydayer, if you want to step it up to that next level, if you want ad-free audio, let's just say you're out walking your dog and you want to catch the show and you want to catch as much of the show as possible, but you don't want ads, Everydayer Club is for you. LockedOnVandy.supercast.com, links in the show notes. Make sure you check that out. It's a game changer, right? Plus, you get members-only Discord access. Like if you go to a Discord server and you can participate and you have access to it. So we can build this Vandy community on Discord. show everybody that Vanderbilt fans actually do exist, because the narrative is that you don't. So if you join the Everydayers Club, you can prove that in a Discord channel, and that would be huge. That would be huge for, for y'all. You get a forum to talk about everything Vanderbilt. You get to chat with other fans and all that stuff. It's really, truly a community, and it's a lot of fun. So lockedonvandy.supercast.com. Join the Everydayers Club today. It's only $5 monthly, or if you choose the annual route, it is $50. So make sure you join today. Links in the show notes. It'll be worth your while, I promise. Locked On Vandy, thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. At Locked On Vandy, if you want to follow along. Got a chance to make a statement here with baseball real quick. Got the Shriners College Baseball Showdown coming up. It is a showdown between the Big 12 and the SEC. All right, representing the SEC is none other than Vanderbilt and Arkansas and Oklahoma. And they will be going up against TCU, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma State. Now, this is Vanderbilt's schedule. So the other schools will, I guess, follow the schedule otherwise. I don't know who plays who when after Vanderbilt plays TCU. But they will all play each other. And it's kind of a SEC Big 12 showdown. And the hope is you get a sweep. You get 3 sweeps one sweep from Vandy, 1 sweep from Arkansas, 1 sweep from Oklahoma. You win the games, do the showdown, prove that the SEC is in fact loaded. Now, and this is the rotation. And I talked a little bit about it on the show that dropped earlier today. We know Vanderbilt has a good young pitching staff. They have some really live arms here. Austin Nye is one that I'm really excited about. Obviously, Connor Fennell's all conference preseason. The Slim Reaper, he's got electric stuff. But Austin Nye is somebody that I think sneakily can be that number 2 ace. Connor Fennell's the ace of spades. Austin Nye is the ace of clubs, right? You jump in there and you go. And I think he's got electric stuff as well. You could see it developing throughout the season. He was brought along slowly because he had Tommy John coming out of high school. So this is a chance for him to make a statement and really solidify himself as one of the premier pitchers in this league. So they have a statement. They have a chance to make a statement with the lineup. They can, they have a chance to prove, hey, we can hit too. And that was the thing that did them in against Wright State in the regionals. Couldn't hit. Could get no run support. Couldn't get any run support. And so this is a chance for Vanderbilt to prove, hey, we made some changes. We brought in a new approach at the plate from the major league level, Jason Esposito, and we are going to prove all the doubters wrong, right? And they're still ranked. So it's not like we're coming from the bottom of the pile here. So we're not like underdogs, but if you look conference-wide, there's 11 teams ranked. And I think we're the 10th out of 11 that are ranked. I mean, it's insane how stacked this league is. And so for Vanderbilt, they have good pitching. They have great pitching. They have a chance to make that elite. They can shut it down. But their bats can do some talking as well. They have some great people in the lineup. It's just a consistency thing for the squad. Colin Barzey, I think, coming back as a catcher, that's going to be huge. You pick up Matt Whitcomb, who can catch on occasion if Barzey needs a break. And Whitcomb is going to be a DH. He's a power hitter from Tennessee Tech. You have Braden Holcomb, who was preseason all-conference. He's going to probably lock down one of the outfield spots, probably center field to be exact. He's somebody that I'm really excited about. The John Stone, Logan and Carter Johnstone, they're going to be special. I mean, this whole lineup has a chance to do some things. It's just going to be interesting how Tim Corbin constructs the lineup. I'm curious to see how they do. I'm curious to see how many times he jumbles it up to kind of find the right fit. And then who comes in off the bench, who is some good reserve guys, what's the bullpen look like, who's going to be the closer. How does this team solidify and become something great? But here's the rotation one more time. Got Connor Fennell, the Slim Reaper against TCU, kicking it off later on. You got Austin Nye against Texas Tech on Saturday, and Nate Taylor the transfer from Georgia coming in against Oklahoma State on Sunday. This rotation is I think it's going to redefine a couple of times before it's all said and done before conference play. But this is projected right now as a possibility for a weekend rotation moving forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that shakes out. But Vanderbilt's got a new NIL collective, and they're doing a lot more things in-house, which leads me to believe there's some really good things on the horizon. They're taking charge, which I like. We're going to talk about that next. Hey, it's Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who showed there's more to score than what's on the screen. Now, I want to highlight Jalen Washington because he had 22 points against Auburn. There was a lot of doubt whether the front court could do it in the 84-76 win over the Auburn Tigers in a game that was pretty much a must win, because I think if you lose that game to Auburn, I think your season starts to slide in a direction that you don't want it to slide in. At this point of the year, you could get out of control. But Jalen Washington said, you know what? They're doubting us. They're doubting me. They're doubting the front court. I'm going to go out and kind of take over this game. He was on pace with Tyler Tanner. Nickel was cold, but you got really good contribution from everybody in the front court. But Jalen Washington led the way in that regard, and it was a great impact there. And that was something that was, a relief, because it's like, okay, well, we took this disadvantage and made it to our advantage. Can they do it night after night? That's going to be the biggest question. But for now, hey, I'll take it. It's a great win, and it's a great way to cap off a really nice midweek game against Auburn. Now, these remind us of what it really takes to raise the bar. It's that extra work off the court. It's dialing in every detail. It's giving it that extra fire. It's that grit. It's that I never quit attitude. We put the same passion into every model. Highlights make the reel. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. And speaking of going the extra mile, thank you for making Locked On Vandy your first listen. Thank you for making Locked On number one. I appreciate everything that you do to make this show what it is. At Locked On Vandy on social media if you want to follow along and connect. But this topic, and I'm going to talk more about it kind of as I get more information on what it's all about. But I read an article on the news. I saw it in my feed, so I clicked on it. And Vanderbilt could be changing the NIL game. They've separated from originally I think is Anchor Impact Collective, and they're doing it all in-house now. So they're hiring their own people. They're doing it in-house because I think they want to broaden the scope of who they help in the NIL landscape, because I think it's also a result of all the sports being very successful. Like basketball is in a great position to get a high seed in the NCAA tournament. Soccer is doing really well. Volleyball came back and played really well. Women's basketball is near the top of their class. And, as tournament time approached, football had their most regular season wins ever with 10. And, baseball has kind of been the gold standard so far, and everybody's kind of catching up. So Vanderbilt wanted to get their own collective going, and I think Anchor Advantage is going to help all the athletes at Vanderbilt get the best possible deals that they can. They're going to involve more alumni. I think they're just basically getting their base and getting their foundation a little bit stronger so that there's more money coming in and out. There's more people interested in Vanderbilt. And I think overall it should help the recruiting efforts because everything is in-house. The more you spread out, the more you have third parties, the more third parties you have, it can get kind of disjointed. And if you can control that some, and you can control the cash flow, and you can also ensure that some of your other sports are getting that shine, like Michaela Blake should be getting a hell of an NIL deal. I don't know what hers looks like. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I don't know what she's getting, but it should be something significant because she is an absolute beast on the court. Like she's a great representative of this program, and I don't know what she's getting, but it should be something significant. So I think this is going to help ensure that. And the same with the soccer team. They won the SEC tournament. they had a nice high seed. I think they made Elite Eight in the college soccer tournament, the NCAA tournament. I think they were Elite Eight. They lost out to Texas Tech, I think. Volleyball is back, so they need to market. Like it's just an overall plan to get these girls involved as well, get these other sports involved. Like Tyler Tanner, maybe he can get a better deal with an in-house collective. It's called Anchor Advantage. They're going to be facilitating all of that stuff for Vandy athletes. So I think it's going to be good, and it's going to help them connect with the university and let the university, who has a vast network in a lot of fields of people that can help. And I think they're tapping into that finally. And I think they're understanding, the university is understanding with behind the efforts of Chancellor Diermeyer, that athletics does drive the bus a little bit. And that is something that is starting to grow within the university. And I think you're going to see something if they can tap into the money that I think they can tap into. Better watch out, because Vanderbilt can be a true player in this game if they want to be. They have the money to be. It's just a matter of whether they want to do it or not. And this is a step in that direction. The Anchor Advantage, changing the NIL game. Very excited about it. And it's going to be a great thing. And so I look forward to kind of diving more into it and just kind of learning about what the Anchor Advantage is and how it's going to change things for people, and just kind of figure out, what are the other deals look like? What does it look like for Michaela Blakes? What does it look like for some of these other athletes in the Vanderbilt program? And that's going to be a great thing. So I'm going to end with that. Anything that can help this university get itself on the map. They're making the changes to make themselves relevant. The old way of Vanderbilt athletics, which is, it's just athletics, just throw them in there. There's their office right there. It's the storage closet B, right? Just throw them in there. That's kind of what it's been. It's not like that anymore. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Of course, we're going to talk baseball, basketball for the rest of the time. The basketball teams, men's and women's, have a lot ahead of them. So it's going to be a lot of exciting things to talk about as they approach postseason play. And baseball is just getting started. So what is their journey going to look like? We're going to talk about it. Plus NIL, football, spring practice, and then get you into the summer, get you into next football season. It'll be just like that before it happens. So make sure you join the Everydayers Club. Link is in the show notes, or it is right here. So make sure you join that. Ad-free audio. Can't beat that. But until next time, anchor down. Peace.